Hi, everyone, and welcome to Chair Yoga. Today is the return to a theme that I have been really interested in for the last several months, and that is unconditional positive regard. The very notion of that just seems so lofty, doesn't it, that we could ever come to a place in our life where that is how we approach our life with unconditional positive regard for ourselves, for others, and even just as life shows up for us, that we can somehow find the capacity to welcome life in all of its various ways that it shows up. So, developing capacity, I think, is something worth considering. And mindfulness practices, embodiment practices, lean toward that, lean toward developing a more capaciousness in ourselves. So, unconditional positive regard has made its way back into my class today. So, I want you to start with the block behind your back, and I'm going to go join you on the chair so we can be doing that all together. We're using the block in its lengthwise position. So you'll scoot yourself back into the chair so that you're able to wedge that block between the backrest and your back, and you're kind of between your shoulder blades. That would be a fairly good place to find it. And then align up your feet in a neutral hips distance apart kind of way. So it feels stable, it feels proper. Press your feet to the floor and just lean back in. So this is a heart opening pose, so kind of a good place to start when we're trying to cultivate unconditional positive regard and really more spaciousness within the heart center. So lean back in. I'm going to suggest you put your hands onto your lap and actually sort of push so that it allows you to lean back in with a little more strength, a little more intention. Let's close the eyes down now and deepen the breath. And just feel your way into that for now. Just even if it's just ever so slight, doesn't feel like a particularly extraordinary experience here. Like, wow, this is really a back bending kind of thing, or it's not. At least my experience at this very moment is that it's pretty subtle, but it's still welcome. To lean back in and feel how it just automatically creates more spaciousness through your chest cavity and right at that heart center. So deepen the breath as you bring your full awareness there. Maybe a cleansing breath is necessary to really transition yourself into this experience, into class. Soften the mouth, relax parts of you that seem to take a little extra encouragement to soften up, relax. We find the balance between ease and effort from start to finish in yoga. It seems like there's always a way that we look for, or that it's appropriate to look for a place to soften at the same time we're trying to get strong, trying to really hold our ground. So I'm going to start us off with alternate nostril breathing, and we'll do that by intention only. So you don't need to use your hand, use the mudra of your hand to plug nostrils. You certainly are welcome to if that's works better for you and you prefer that. But if you're like me, trying to develop maybe a more intentionality about it and trusting that process, and it's simply a way of balancing the energies of the body, the energies of our being. The right side of the body is more in line with the solar, the sun, the energy of the sun. It's considered masculine. It's considered a giving or providing energy. And it's body based. It's about getting things done. It's also about, oddly enough, the right side of the body is associated with the left brain, and the left brain is more analytical. All good, all characteristics. Oh, and in using the Chinese symbol of yin and yang, this would be the yang. This is that active part. This is in that symbol, there's white and black. It's the white side of that. And then when we look at the left side of the body, that's the feminine, that's associated with lunar, sleeping, resting state. It's receptive, the energy of receptivity. It's heart-centered. It's relational. And it is more creative. So again, on the right brain side of it, it's more creative. And it is the yin, or the black side of that circle symbol. So that's the idea, balancing right to left, left to right by alternate nostril breathing. So let's take a deep breath in and release it out of our mouth with an ah, and another one like that, and release that ah. And now with intention and your imagination, eyes closed, let's breathe in through the left side and out through the right side. Inhale left nostril, exhale right nostril. Stay with that, inhaling left side, exhaling through the right nostril. Just focus, use your intention, use your imagination, and don't really look for the sensation of it, the feeling of moving that into your nose. Just find the intention to be, satisfactory. That's enough. That's doing it. That's doing this for us. So we're going to couple more breaths, inhaling on the left nostril, exhaling the right. Don't misunderstand me. Sometimes you really feel that. You can feel it exactly through your nostril. I don't want to discourage it. I just don't want you to think you're not doing it right if you're not feeling that experience. A couple more breaths now, staying with the left side, exhaling right, inhaling left. And now when we exhale right, we'll switch that. So we're going to inhale on the same side, right side, inhale, exhale left, inhale from the right side nostril, and exhale left side. Stay with it now, just really balancing the energies left and right. Inhale right side, and we're exhaling now on the left nostril or the left side of the body, however it is you imagine it. Let's go a couple more breaths. Staying with that. And then last one, inhaling on the right side when it's time, and exhaling on the left. Let's take a big breath in through the nostrils, both nostrils in together. Big breath in, exhale out of the mouth with a ah. Excellent. Now, let's take the block out from behind our back and start scooching forward. So we're aligning ourselves for the movement of our asana. We're going to start with palms up as we just momentarily now touch base with ourselves to set our particular intention, giving you some groundwork about the intention overall, the sort of umbrella of intention for this class from my point of view. And then you too, come to class with an intention. So to find that, to locate that in your mind and become aware of that and claim it for yourself now. Remember, this is for you. This is about you. So as you kind of muddle around with that setting of intention, just remember this is very intimate. It serves you. And then on your next exhale, just say the words silently, and so it is, and we'll open the eyes. I'm going to invoke the prayer I've often used. I'm going to see if you want to join me in that. And that is this, as we begin our class, that what needs to be said is said. What needs to be heard is heard. What needs to be released is released. And that which could be embraced is embraced today. So let's sync up the breath as we inhale and bring palms together overhead. Exhale as we bow into the heart. Inhale as we lift up, and exhale as we bring our arms all the way down to the side of the chair. We're going to do a lot of cat and cow movement. I'm going to try to introduce it whenever I think of it. So we're pulling those arms back and letting the chest bone come forward. So feeling the arch of the back body. So it's a heart opening pose. Exhale when you're ready to round through the back body, kind of feel the expansion through your back body, and begin the vinyasa. So it brings us to a very particular flow. So our mind has to be very centered to find the breath and the movement matching up, and to stay paying attention to how it feels in your body. We always have to bring that beginner's mind, because this is something we've done so many times that we might just check out. So I want to encourage you to stay with the experience of your body right now as you move through a very familiar sequence. Try having a little more significant awareness of how you're pulling your belly in this rounded position. Pull the belly in, engage the abdominals. Pull the belly in as you exhale completely. Last time, inhale and exhale. And let's come to a neutral position. Now let's work the joints. I want you to start opening and closing your hands. So either have your arms right alongside the chair's frame, or you could open up. So encouraging a little more strength of the body, open and close. Get a lot of movements. Pay attention to individual movement of your fingers. See if you can not just open and close your fingers at the same time, but that you individualize that movement, trying to get one finger at a time to move in that way, opening, closing, stretching, and bending. Stay with it. And then everybody join me in the extended arm. So if you didn't choose that option to begin with, let's have that T shape and just flip the hands so palms are facing up. Stretch your hands open wide, spread your fingers apart, let your thumb point back. Squeeze into the block however you might have placed it. If you're using it to align your legs and feet, feel a sense of that strength and power of the central channel. Puff up the chest as you breathe in and breathe out. Kind of keep your chin tucked towards your throat so the back of the neck and your spine feel really well aligned. Syncing up the breath, inhale, palms together, up and overhead. Exhale as you bow into your own heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way around. And we're going to do a couple of those. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling all the way down. Some shoulder rolls. Let's get into the shoulders now. Let's do the shoulder rolls. Keep your arms very close to the side of the chair. Can you keep your attention on the whole movement? Up, back, down, the whole deal. You feel the movement. You're noticing it with your mind's eye. Managing the weight of your head. So don't pull forward. Don't lean back. Keep your head managed right at the top of the spine. We're going to shift to just doing one shoulder at a time, but it's the same shoulder roll, just adding a little more intention, a little more coordination. When we change the direction, we're staying with one shoulder roll at a time, but now we're coming forward, or whatever you were doing. Doesn't matter if you and I didn't start it the same way, but reverse the direction of your shoulder roll. Feet to the floor, feeling the experience of the stability your lower body is providing. And come to neutral now as you lift those arms up. Exhale down. So the spine and the head are staying very neutral, very stable, not a lot of movement there, so that we can isolate the movement through the shoulders. Next time your arms are up in the air, let's make a fist. And exhale as you bring those fisted hands in. So we're into the elbows in terms of joints, but also into the hands. So inhale, those hands spread, then we make a fist as we bring down into that nice bicep curl. So find your own rhythm of movement, but just notice that you're into the joints of the hands. Maybe even you'll feel it in your wrist and the elbows, of course, and the shoulders. So we're really doing some good work to bring awareness and movement, fluid movement, into the joints. I like the power of it. I like to add this kind of intentionality of power. Let's meet with our hands up high, lift up, look up, but the palms come together while you're looking up. Take a big breath both in and out, trying to straighten out the elbows now, pressing the palms together. Feel your legs, feel how your feet have aligned or how your lower body is aligned to the block. And you're making an imprint with your feet to the floor. Let's sync up our inhale here. Take one now. Exhale when it's at the heart. Inhale up and exhale, come all the way down. I'm going to use the block a little different now as we bring it out in front of us. Just I've got it on its high side and it's just out in front. And I'm going to open up my feet a little bit wider than the legs of the chair. Heels are in, toes are out. I want you to lift up your heels so you're onto the toe ball mons, the toes and the ball mons. So get used to that experience, that we're into the ankles and feeling that in the joints of our feet as well. But we're going to add a little something to that. So this is what we're going to be doing with the legs. So feel that stretch, lifting the heel. So I'm thinking about the Barbie movie, the Barbie feet. So we're creating that, aren't we? Lifting up those high heels. All right, then let's find that block. So come into that half lift position where you're folding down, letting your chest kind of lead the way as you hold on to the block, creating a nice long line, tucking the throat, your chin in toward the throat, so the back of the head, neck, and spine are in that diagonal line. And then just start to move, lift up those heels and put them back down. Inhale, or just find the rhythm that works for you. You don't necessarily need to find a vinyasa here, but you might. Strong back. Now here's something we haven't done. Use your block now. Next time you lift up those heels, that's good. But when you let the heels drop down, can you float your bottom, literally float yourself right off the chair? So we could get those heels up, we drop them down, and when they come down, we literally lift ourselves right off the chair. So this will just take a little focus. Don't try to match up with my speed or keep focused on the screen. There's no need for that. Just see what you can do here. And you could skip the lifting if that's not in your wheelhouse today. And when you lift up, that's a great place to introduce that sensation for the perineum, to tighten and tone the perineum, lifting up and holding through that. I'm doing a couple more. Stay with me if you can. Beautiful. And then we'll just come back to center, one hand at a time, comes to the thighs. We bring ourselves up, bring yourself up. Take a moment now to adjust. Any movement your body needs to be reset, please do. I'm going to lower the block a little bit. I think it might be an easier jump because we're going to hold on to the chair now, opening up into that heart space. So again, kind of bringing awareness as we bring our hands back to hold on to the chair. We've created a heart opener. And let's just lift the leg to jump over to the other side. I'm jumping over that block. Steady your breath, kind of smooth it out. And when you bring your legs together, kind of give them a squeeze them together, and then release. Let's have a flexed foot doing the jumping. Switch sides. Squeeze those thighs. Can you feel the rhythm of your breath to the movement? Switch sides. Flex that foot. Find the rhythm of breath, rhythm of movement. Switch sides one more time. Hop over. And this time, let's bring those legs together and hold them there. Maybe draw your heels a little bit closer to the chair so you feel a real definite bend in your knees. You don't want your feet too far away. And then we're going to gently approach this twist. So we're turning away from the way our knees are pointing. I want you to gently start to move in that direction, keeping your spine vertical, keeping yourself balanced in your pelvis. And don't hesitate to shimmy around. What if you find, you can't find balance because you're too close to the edge of the chair? Please, I hope you don't think, oh, I got to stay right now. I got to stay with her because I don't want to lose my way. Just shift your body, make your adjustments, trust that. We'll be here. So we want the whole length of the spine to feel this revolving action. Squeeze those thighs. But notice how much softer and relaxed your arms and hands are, because we're really kind of cultivating that strength in the core, in the side waists and through the back muscles, and not really trying to pull ourselves in, but trying to find that strength right there in those muscles. Pay attention to how your neck is doing. We want to add that turn of the head if it's available to us. Definitely. Let's deepen the breath now. Really center on your breath, both in and all the way out. Neutral head. Stay with your breath. And then we're going to unwind the head and the shoulders. We'll take that big step out. Let's reset the body. Anything you need to do to adjust from that. Before we grab hold of the chair, step over to the other side. Squeeze those legs. Make sure your feet are close to the chair. Find the balance in your pelvis, and we gently enter the twist on the other side. Remember how your breath is your sure guide. Notice if it's choppy and difficult, so you can do any adjustments you might need to settle that down. And it could mean I'm not twisting on this side today because for some reason I can't seem to find that gentle breath. So maybe you just come out of it. We'll try it again another time. Keep deepening the breath as you move into the revolving posture of the whole trunk of your body, from the base of the spine all the way up to the neck, head. And we'll unwind the head and bend the shoulders and arms to take that wide step. I'm going to tuck the block underneath me so it's not in my way, and bringing hands here to the shoulders. Let's start circling around those chicken wings. And change the direction of that. We're going to start with the oblique muscles, those side waist muscles, as we turn to let that elbow touch the opposite knee. So be very specific about turning, twisting, dropping. Pay attention to how your head and neck are moving. What I do is bring my awareness into where my ears are facing. I want to turn my head in such a way that it feels like I'm lining up my ears with the elbow that I'm touching down. My ear, I should say. So see if you can find it. There's no rush here. And then let's release. If we've touched each elbow, seems like we've evened it out on the sides. Let's just lift up like a big full body stretch. Push your feet to the floor. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, let them come on down. Flow with that. Inhale, lift up, really reach, and exhale down. This time we're going to bring our hands behind the back, behind the head, interlacing your hands right at the base of the skull then. And I'm going to bring my legs a little closer together. I think that's going to work better. It's considered like a clamshell movement. This is the open clamshell here, and that's the inhale. And the exhale, one knee draws up, and you try to bring both elbows to that knee to close that clamshell. Inhale here, exhale, switch to the other knee. So you get the idea. Go from here. It's a vinyasa. It's an open and a close. Open and close. Feel the heart opener and the rounded back. So once again, we've kind of entered into that cat-cow movement. I notice I'm getting a little sloppy with my legs, so see if you can bring some awareness there. That's your bringing both elbows to the knee as it raises up, and keep your legs parallel to each other. One more on each side. Open and close. And bring yourself to neutral. We're just going to let those arms kind of come all the way out in a big sweeping action, all the way down, all the way down. Arms are alongside the frame of the chair. Let's move through our cow and our cat. So we stretch up, arms come back, hands on the thighs, push into your thighs a little bit. So when you round through the back body, you've got a little bit of leverage. Beautiful. Let's come back to neutral now. We're going to scoop up our leg. I got a hold of that left leg, and I'm going to start moving that ankle around. So spinning around, and include your toes. Heavy up the leg now. Let the leg just hang like a rag doll. Feel the difference. You can feel by your imagination here and the intention that you're heavying up the leg. And we're going to do a few more bicep curls, lifting that heavy leg up. Use your strength of your arm to lift up the heaviness of the leg. Lift and hold, pull it in, pull it in. We're going to switch our hands to the shin now so we can have that hyper flexion of the knee. And then we'll release both feet to the floor, take a little moment here to reset the body. And then we'll try the other side. So we're going to scoop our hands underneath, start to move that foot around. Feel a lot of movement through your ankle. Get your toes moving. Remember how many joints there are. We're trying to get them all. And then we're just going to ragdoll now. Let that foot just hang like a ragdoll because we're heavying up that leg. Heaviness of the leg returns so we can do our bicep curls with the heaviness of that leg. Keep your spine upright. Find your breath. Let's lift and hold. We're going to switch. So we got a hold of our leg by the shin, hyperflex. So you're drawing your calf right into the hamstring, right into the back of your thigh. Pull it in. And while we're here, let's stay on that side now so we can come into this figure 4, laying your ankle onto your thigh. Make sure your standing leg is well placed, that you don't have your foot tucked underneath your chair, that it's right underneath your knee, giving you a nice stability there, nice strong foundation. I want you to really massage into that, pressing into your thigh. Find your breath. I'm going to do a twist here by bringing our elbow and forearm to match the shin. So I have my elbow coming into the inner ankle, just laying my forearm to match the shin. So it requires a bit of a fold forward. And if that's as far as you can go, getting yourself down with your elbow and then bringing your forearm in line with your shin gives you plenty of stretching. Hold it and breathe. If you can, if you want to add a little more to it, I want you to take your other hand, take your right hand and push it right into your thigh, push it into the thigh. So you're really working that as a source of leverage to turn into a twist. So I'm just turning my head gently. My upper body is gently moving into the space that I'm trying to get with my hip. So part of me is really making a big effort, pushing a hand into that thigh, trying to flatten it out a little bit. But the other part of me, I really feel the difference between ease and effort. Absolutely. A lot of effort going into pushing my hand into my thigh and flattening that out. But the rest is ease. I turn my head into this twist. Feel now, do a quick body scan, feeling the foot on the floor. Make your awareness up into the ankle through the length of your shin. Feel how your knee's doing. You're into that side of your body, into the thigh. Switch to the other side, move to your pelvis on the other side. Now feel that bent knee, your hand pushing in or not. Just feeling this full body scan so you're aware of how this feels from top to bottom. And then we're going to unwind the head and the shoulders, come back to neutral. Let's do this without hands. So I want you to get your foot back to the floor. Let's just do that one more time. And we'll switch to the other side. Pull it on in. Ankle is right above, right on top of your thigh. Make sure your standing leg is well positioned now. And you're balanced in your pelvis. So you might have to shimmy around. We start with pushing. We're going to push and massage. Finding the smoothness of your breath. Any adjustments you need to make might be very different one side to the other, might always is. Elbow comes to the inner ankle and we just lay our forearm down to match up with our shin, the inside of the shin. So just trying to find that requires a forward fold. Again, you might be done. That might be it. I'm going to hold that like I did on the other side because this is plenty. Turn your head for sure. So if you've decided that's as far as you want to go, do turn your head to look away from your elbow. But if you can add the pressure, if you can add the compression, get busy with that. Get strong with your left arm, get strong with your left hand, push it into that thigh. And see what that creates in terms of spaciousness in the hip, more sensation for sure. And then stick with your plan to rotate into a twist. Maybe being aware of how your ear is facing the elbow that's on top of your ankle. And then soften somewhere. So we find that ease, and we also feel the effort to support this. Breathe into the sensation you're experiencing. That's good yoga. When we know enough to do that, we bring our awareness right into the intensity and we offer our breath right there. We don't check out. We don't go somewhere else. We stay right here with the intensity and we offer the depth of our breath right there. Unwinding the head and your twist comes out. Get a hold of your chair. And we'll just get that foot to the floor and we'll do that one more time. Good. All right, let's get both feet up off the floor. Rocking forward, lifting up. Hold the chair. I like to do it that way. You could hold on to your thighs. That also works. So whatever you're getting a little more support from, lifting up. We're going to lift up, get our bottom right off the chair, and our arms are right into the thighs. So we're in that chair-like squat. So take your time. You don't need to turn like I did. I was just giving you a side view. So you stay right where you are. Feel your feet to the floor. Feel that long line, that diagonal line at the back of the head, neck, spine. And then we're going to see if we can bring palms together at the prayer position in the heart. And if that's too much, put that stability or that bracket of support that your hands and arms can supply. And lifting up, lifting all the way up, palms are together, we're lifting up. We're going to hold on to the palms together and just breathe here. Kind of catching up with our breath with arms up, palms together. Find your drishti, feet are straight. Stay with your breath until you feel it landing in your feet. So you've come into the full body experience of your breath once again. Let's inhale together. Look up if it's okay with your neck. Exhale as you bow into your heart. Really bow your head. Inhale up and exhale, come all the way around. Let's interlace the hands behind the back. Let's get into the pec muscles now. So we're just interlacing the hands behind the back. If you can get the butt of the hands together, that'll give you a little more intensity. Just fingers works too. So pulling the knuckles down and away from your back body. So you're right in here, right in those pec muscles. Let's get a little softness in the legs. So as you hold on to that interlaced hands behind your back, can you start to sway side to side? So those strong straight arms are going from one side to the other. And of course, your head has to kind of tilt to go with that, and your legs have, your knees have to bend. You're going to find some movement in your hips. So we've got, you talk about balance of ease and effort. So there's a whole lot of effort and strength and stability. This is that right side energy. The masculine energy is our arms. And the rest of the body is flowing, is got the softness of the left side of our body, the feminine, moving side to side. So we kind of experience it subtly, don't we? Then let's come back to center now and open and close those hands. Let's get into those joints. Move them in individual movements if you can. And then shake it out. Shake that out so your arms are shaking, your hands are shaking. And then let's shift to the legs. Let's shake those out too. If you want to hold on to your chair, sure, of course, do it. So shake, shake, shake. We're going to start tapping now. We're here at the chest, right at the heart center. Fingertips only. Slow down your breath. You feel the rhythm of breath. Just tap, tap, tapping. Go right through your collarbone so you start to spread out the tapping towards your shoulders. And we're going to go down one arm at a time. Start with the underside of the arm, tapping it down and back up, and then switch palms down to your top of the arm. Back. Just take that pathway along your collarbone to go to the other side. Start with the underside of your arm, just all the way into the, that you're touching the palm. You're tapping into the palm of the hand as well, and turning so the other side gets that tapping. Let's bring the hands behind us. We're into the kidney region. So you're in your low back. I've got just a soft fist, just sort of tapping with my soft fist. Just back. Everywhere I can reach it, really. Any place I can reach, I'm giving it a tap. And let's make our way down the legs. Bend your knees all you need to tap down the front side of your legs. And I'm just going to leave that up to you. You're tapping your legs. You don't need to follow my specific instructions. Start tapping. Try to get every part of your leg that seems like it needs it. Give yourself permission to come up and down. We're going to land in the heart. So join me when you can. And we're landing back into the heart, those taps right at the sternum. And let's release our arms into our mountain pose. Straighten out your feet. Pull in the belly. Lift up your chest. And we got to soften the knees. We don't want them locked. So let's find that full body expression of the breath as you close your eyes down. See if you can draw the breath from the soles of the feet. As you ascend the inhale all the way through the front side of the body. And you exhale through and descend your exhale right down through the back side of your body. We're just going to do that for 2 more breaths. Circle your body with the breath. Full breath in and full breath out. You need the length of the breath to make your way through the body. That's it. Let's inhale together. Palms come up. I've just got my hands reaching up and exhaling all the way down. Great. Let's find our position with our chair. I'm going to say let's use the seat of the chair, our lowest version of contact, bringing our palms to the chair's seat. We can find our downward facing dog. So get your arms stretched alongside your head. It seems like you want the biceps to stretch past your ears. And remember, the same distance you have between your hands on the chair, you want that very same distance between your feet on the floor. Now we're getting into the joints again as we lift those heels up one at a time. And don't let me rush you. If I've given you too many instructions, you're just trying to get your downward dog set up. Take your time with it. And then when you're ready, start what they call walking the dog. So we're lifting one heel at a time. So you're feeling the stretch in your feet, as well as how it offers relief in the hamstrings by giving some slack. You bend one knee and it gives you slack so that the other leg can really straighten out and stretch. So see if you can incorporate all of that into your walking the dog. Your chin is tucked towards your throat, so it feels very neutral in your head and neck. No strain. A couple more, alternating the heels up and down. And then meet me with both heels up, you're in your toes, and both heels down. We're going to start walking to the chair. Bend your knees, soften the knees as you come up, slowly all the way up, standing. Find your mountain pose, palms face forward, pull the belly in, soften the knees, find your mountain. You know the specifics of setting that up. Close your eyes briefly. Feel your heart now, breathing, finding spaciousness in the heart, creating the capacity within us to approach this life with softness, tenderness, loving kindness toward ourselves, toward others, toward life itself. Again, palms are going to come to the chair. This time we're right close to the chair, so we're in what's called the tabletop position. If your wrists are sore, I've got a cushion on my chair, so I can easily change to fists. I can make fists and have my knuckles down, and that softens the intensity of the wrist. Now, if you've got a hard surface chair seat, that's probably not going to help at all. But this is an alternative if you're like me and you've got, some cushion there. So palms are here, or fists are here into that tabletop position. We're going to bend a knee and extend it straight back and really lift up. Let's take it again. Bend the knee toward the belly. I'm keeping my head, neck, and spine pretty much the same. I'm not rounding through the back body. I've just got the leg in motion. Let's hold it now. Lengthen past. I want you to turn your toes, almost like your toes of the extended leg are trying to turn toward the foot that's on the floor. Lift it as high as you can without changing the posture of your spine, keeping your head, neck, and spine pretty much where they've been. One-legged, so you're in this tripod of balance, aren't you? Your hands and your one leg, your standing leg. Both feet to the floor. Let's softly bend the knees and come out and shake that out a little bit. Catch up with the breath. We'll do the other side. So either palms down or your fists for wrists, they call that. Fists for wrists when your wrists are giving you trouble. Feel that length of the spine. So there's just this gentle lifting, looking outward. And then we're going to bend the other knee, bring it in toward the belly, and extend that leg straight out behind you. And find some movement with that, keeping your spine long. Head, neck, and spine are stationary. You isolate the movement in the leg. We're going to lift the leg as high as we can now, rotating your foot a bit so it feels like your toes are pointing toward the foot on the floor. And find your full breath in and out. Straight leg, as best you can. Both legs are straight. Where could you soften? Relax your face, your tongue. Let's get both feet to the floor. This time we're going to hold on to the chair. I got a hand on each side of the chair. I want you to get your legs, your feet as least as far, as wide as the chair itself could be wider. And I want toes to point out heels are pointing in into this squat. Can you bring your elbows into the inner thighs, into right in, just see if you can feel that connection. I've got a little sway going side to side, foot to foot, moving my body weight, holding onto the chair. Any place you want to hold onto the chair. See if you can come up about halfway. Get your hands into that tabletop position. And now we've got quite a squat going in. We're certainly into the hips and into the buttocks, stretching. I want you to breathe into that. If you're feeling this as pain in your knees, come out of it entirely. Straighten out your knees and don't do this. But if you're able to pull your body weight away from the chair and your knees are not suffering whatsoever, then let's get into the buttocks. Let's get into the hips. Deep breath in and out. And then let's come up slowly. Get your hand to the thigh, make your way up, all the way up. Inhale with me, palms are together overhead. Exhale, heart. Inhale up and exhale all the way down. I like to have the chair, the back of the chair available for this. Side bend. Got my legs open wide, hand on the chair, raising the other arm all the way up and overhead. There's a couple ways you can do this. Moving strictly through the waist and above, keeping your legs and your pelvis stationary. You could also try really pulling your hips over. So different version. See what appeals to you. So the hips can stay stationary. You isolate the movement in the upper body, or you let your hips really get into it, or you could alternate like I'm doing. Couple more. Turning your head with intention, paying attention to how you're managing that, and come all the way out. We're going to set up for the other side. Maybe all you have to do is turn around. You got it easy. Just turn around. Open up your feet wide. Find that stable base. Hand on the chair, up and overhead. How are you turning your head, managing, the neck. And don't forget, you could do alternate movements like getting your hip to really push out. So you feel that movement through the hips. I kind of like that. This side particularly likes it. The other side was kind of okay both ways. But this side, it needs this. You got to get some movement in the hips. Last time. Find your breath now. Pay attention. Come back up. And then we're going to face the back of the chair. Both hands are touching the chair as we face it. And let's stretch that out into that extended forward fold, the L shape. You want to get your arms to extend right past your ears. It's a gentle touch. Hands are just laying on that chair. You don't need to hold it, grab it, or squeeze it. Just let them rest there. Get your legs involved. Like I tell you all the time, that's what's holding you up. Your legs are holding you up. That chair is not holding you up. Can you really work on straightening the legs now? Even to the point of like one hand stays on the chair, but the other hand starts pushing into the corresponding thigh bone. You're right on top of your thigh, and you want to feel how you're starting to let your thigh bone pull back. And switch sides. Let your other hand do the same thing. That's very effective. It's not just imagining it. You're absolutely participating in that. Feeling that compression. Excellent. Both hands are back to the chair. Now let's open our feet a little wider. You can do that from here. And then I want you to start moving your hips from side to side, swaying the hips side to side like we're wagging our tail. Keep your gaze down. You don't need to look at the screen. And then slowly, intentionally now, come back to standing. Catch up with your breath. Take a big breath in through the nose. Exhale it out of your mouth. Any reset your body needs, any little additional tapping, any additional shaking it out that your body needs, this is your time to do it. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, you come into the chair. You scoot way back into the chair so that you can easily access the backrest. I really encourage you to reset your body, to do any stretching or moving before you settle in. You don't need to rush your way into your shavasana. Make sure you feel settled. Maybe this is a great time to get a drink of water. This is you making this transition, but stay focused on yourself. Don't be looking outside like, what am I going to do in the kitchen over there? Stay with yourself right here in this space, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Stay here. And when you're ready, let your chair take over so that it's really you're finding support and stability, steadiness, reliable steadiness that the chair offers, that you can trust to just surrender to it. And do the body scan. Move through your body with your awareness. So you can feel, I'm going to say, start with the joints. We worked the feet, the ankles, the knees, the hips. We work the elbows, the shoulders, the wrists, the hands. Can you feel prana in those joints? That experience of aliveness that almost feels like a charge. Can you feel spaciousness in your heart? And encourage that now. That as you breathe in, you're allowing yourself to just expand into that chest cavity, inviting more sensation, more awareness of open-heartedness. Open-heartedness as a way of being, not just a body posture, but as a way of being. And notice how you are supported in that. The chair is holding you, supporting you, grounding you to open your heart. Now, with all that said, let's just let go. Just let go. Remember to soften your mouth. Sometimes we hold tension there. It's just an unconscious thing. So bring awareness gently to make sure that you're relaxed in your face and in your jaw and in your tongue. I'm going to read from The Promise of a New Day. This is not today's reading. It's just a reading that I have liked to return to. And so it's bookmarked for me. And it seems suitable to our theme, our intention for today's class. Our options for how we respond to the people in our lives are vast. Being critical is one option open to us. Indifference and gentleness are others. The way we treat others reveals our own state of being. When we feel at peace, we generally respond peacefully to others. Conversely, when we feel worthless and full of self-doubt, we're likely to be sarcastic toward others. However, we can pull ourselves out of the self-imposed dungeon of despair. The method is this. In spite of personal feelings, be warm, kind, and gentle in every personal exchange with another, and your own dark mood is sure to be lifted. Again, we are confronted with the reality that we make our world. Our treatment of others treats ourselves simultaneously. Our friends and coworkers mirror the self we often think we're hiding away. A conscious decision will guarantee the happiness we long for when the decision is to be gentle, loving, and caring toward all the people in our lives. Today, I'll be as happy as I want to be. Let's introduce movement back into our bodies now. Maybe you start to get your feet back to the floor from their reclined position. You scoot forward on your chair so that you are returning to right alignment of the spine. Be gentle now. Let's take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale it out, that cleansing breath. Make some noise. It's a good way to finish up. It's a good way to start. It's a good way to finish. Let's do it a couple times now. Cleanse the breath. And as we bring our hands together in the prayer position and close your eyes, I want you to put a smile on your face. I'm doing it. You can do it. And just notice now, just putting a smile on your face. Don't even have to show teeth, just turning the mouth that way. Can you feel the difference in your body? Can you feel the difference in the spaciousness and lightheartedness you feel in your body and in your heart and in your mind? Isn't that powerful? Just adding a smile has that kind of, result, that kind of impact. Wow. Let's sync up our breath. Inhale those palms together overhead. Exhale, bowing into our heart. Inhale back up. Exhale, let's share this beautiful energy with our communities. Nice gift. And we bring our palms together at the heart. We bow to ourselves and we bow to each other. Namaste, my friends. And thank you so much for joining me for class today. My pleasure.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you. You are welcome.